Hello everyone, this is your weekly review for the EURUSD trading strategies for the week of November 22nd to November 26th. It was a 4-day week and a pretty good one, plus 12R or so for the 4 days. 12.66 and average trading time about 1 hour and 45 minutes. Win rate 78%, that's higher than usual, but we also had a bunch of early exits, which reduced our reward to risk from the typical 2.5 to 1 down to about closer to 2 to 1. So, sometimes you'll have that trade-off there where your win rate might be a little higher, but your reward to risk drops. Or if you're going for all those big reward to risk trades, your win rate might be lower. Almost all rounded tops and rounded bottoms this week, one double pump variation. And let's check out the charts. So this was the Monday big move here, and then nothing really coming through in terms of the patterns until this point. This one I didn't like. We had this pull back here and then the big drop, so I was looking for the price to get back above here in order to signal the shift up. We did not get it. So this was not an entry point here. At this point, we get a move. We have this big drop here. And even if you use this point here as the shift up, then you may have gotten in there a little bit early and you would have had one loss followed by one win. I was really looking for the price to get back above here to kind of signal, okay, we've really shifted up. But then again, yeah, you could use this one as well. And so yeah, based on this, the price got up there, the first pullback, and this was our first trigger candle into that trade. This was the Tuesday, and a little bit of chop in here, and I opted not to trade in here, although if I had, would have added 1.5R. There was a rounded top right here. We had this little shift down and could have taken this entry point here. And that would not have worked out, so you'd have had a loss of 1R. But then you also have this rounded top here where the price shifts below these swing lows here, pulls back, and you get the transition to the downside. So you would have had 2.5R there. So your total between the two trades, you would have added 1.5R. So options there. Why I stayed out during the chop, a rounded top, rounded bottom can form pretty easily when the price is just moving sideways. And so unless I'm expecting sort of a breakout of that sideways movement, I'm more inclined to leave them alone. And because rounded tops, rounded bottoms are more of you've had a trending move and the price is showing you a rounded top or rounded bottom to end that trending move and start going in the other direction. In chop, we don't really have those trends going on. Pretty nice rounded bottom here. Nice clean move up to above this little swing high and pull back and break higher. This one too, a nice pattern. We'd had this big drop, so this is like a rounded bottom continuation, shifts below this swing low, pull back, shift down, and just didn't go anywhere. When it doesn't go anywhere, that can often mean a rounded top could turn into a rounded bottom or vice versa. So we can see this loss of momentum and then the price shifts back up. We have a reversal to the upside, moving above the prior swing high, pull back, trigger candle, and it ran. This one I did opt to trail because we were kind of moving, overall sideways. We'd had a bit of movement up and down, but if you kind of look at this whole area, we haven't really made much progress either direction. And we were a little hesitant. Price moves up, doesn't make much progress above my entry point before quickly coming back. And then the next wave up makes a little bit of progress, but then comes all the way back. So once we started to move up here, I was moving my stop losses up. And then as we got close to the target, I opted to trail it. It hit my target before I was trailed out. But it did end up continuing higher, so pretty much no matter what you did here, you had a pretty good trade going on. This is the Wednesday, kind of like the Monday in that we started out with some big whipsaw movement. Was that Monday? Yeah, Monday started out with these just kind of big moves, which, yeah, I didn't really see anything here until this point here, and we have this drop and pullback, and this last drop does not make really any progress compared to what we've seen. This was falling very sharply, and now all of a sudden we try to go for another drop. Really nothing left, and we get a spike up above this swing high. Little pause bar, and I remember feeling a little bit apprehensive about this trade because, you know, the price had been moving so quickly, and then we have this tiny little price bar. It is on a pullback. It's all green. That does not mean it's not a pullback. We got to this point here, pulled all the way back down here over that, you know, whatever it was, a minute and a little bit. And that's a pullback. And we have this nice little bar here. If the price moves above it, that's a trigger candle, and got in. I had my target set way up here just because we'd had these big whipsaw moves. So, you know, if the price is gonna fly right back up, may as well try to take advantage. And, you know, it came probably at least a couple pips away from where I had my target, and I was well above 2.5 pips. And what I was doing is I just started to implement the aggressive trail. So this was the first one, went below this red candle, and I started this one a little early. So from this green candle, this price shot up, and I put my stop loss. You can see it's right near the open of that candle. The top of that red, the fat part of that red candle is the open. So when this shot up, I moved my stop loss to above there, thinking, yeah, if it breaks back below the bottom of that candle, I want out anyway. So I moved it up a little quickly, you know, otherwise it would have gone at the close of the candle right there, so I would have made a little less, like 3.2 or something. But it spiked up so quick that I just moved my stop loss to below the open of that candle. And yeah, capturing more than 2.5. When you're above the 2.5, yeah, use the trailing stop loss or something, you know, capture that bit of extra profit. But you don't want to end up losing more than, or making less than 2.5 if you're going for a lot more. Thursday, no trading. I did not trade. I do not like trading on U.S. holidays since I'm trading during the U.S. session. If you are trading during the U.S. session, you can trade when there's a U.S. holiday, but yeah, you're typically going to have muted movement or, like I put in here, kind of spastic movement. So, because, yeah, you're going to have less volume going through in the market. So, I'm going to take the day off on the Thursday. Friday was a partial day for stocks and other markets in the U.S., meaning the market's still kind of in holiday mode. A lot of people are taking that day off. You know, banks might not be super active on that day. And so this was kind of my thing coming in. It's like, okay, let's see if there's some movement, but let's not get too aggressive with it. And it was pretty muted. I don't know what happened after this, but, you know, Europe, lots of movement. And then we start coming toward the U.S. session, and we pretty much move sideways and stayed contained within kind of that last little a bit of the European session before the New York opened. So yeah, we just kind of stayed pretty much contained. And I looked at this as a double pump variation. This was a magnet area. Magnet areas, I included videos in the enhancement videos on the EURUSD day trading course. So you can see those, what those kind of mean. So this was a double pump variation in the sense that we had this, you know, big rally, little pop down, we go right back to the highs, pull back, and no trigger candle here because, you know, we'd be waiting for a little candle here to go long, but we did get this big consolidation, and then in that here is what I kind of viewed as the first trigger candle here, because nothing really makes a higher candle high until this point. We move above the top of this green candle and shoot up, and this came with very close to my target, took out the magnet area and then reversed. It took out the magnet area, which is what I wanted. This is why I took this trade. I opted not to take a rounded top in here. Did I make a note? Yes, you could have also taken a rounded top here because you did get this little shift below, the pullback, and then a trigger candle to go short here. Since we were close and we hadn't taken out this area in 2 attempts, I was thinking more, we're probably going to at least try to take out that area. Doesn't always happen, but probability-wise, more often than not, I've noticed we'll try to take out that area. So I opted not to take that one. If you did, you would have had a 1.6R day instead of a 2.6R day. No problem with that. But I did take the double pump variation here. It came very close to hitting the target within 0.1, 0.2 pips, and then started to reverse. Since it had taken out the magnet area, it did what I wanted it. I closed it out when it dropped below this candle. So basically implemented the aggressive trailing stop loss above the magnet area. Then hard shift down and nice pullback, trigger candle, drops below that candle. Almost hits the target. I could have closed this one, but we were probably about half a pip away. And I did think, this was pretty whipsaw, so I did think the price could run even down toward this low here. It did not reverse very quickly. Didn't give, much of a chance to close out or anything. So that was a full loss there. Shift back up, takes out this swing high. That is a rounded bottom. We have that one up here. Approaches this high, stalls out well before, but, pretty close to my target again. And yeah, opted to close that one early again. We have a bit of a pattern playing out. We have, sideways movement overall, a loss, a partial profit, and, if after this is the 4th attempt to go through this area, if it didn't do it there, after this big drop, is it going to do it? I was a little leery of this. I was favoring more the downside, but at the same time, this was a pretty good spike up, so I opted to take it. And then this was more the trade I wanted, that short and really harsh, sharp transition back down. We take out this swing low, pause there, and got in right here on this little dip below that green candle, and dropped away. Came within 0.1, 0.2 pips again, just couldn't quite close out the deal there on the target. And again, I was thinking this price could drop a little bit more, so I gave it 2 chances. It dropped here, almost hit my target within 0.12 pips, then shot all the way back up here, dropped again, the second red candle, got close again, and then started to bounce. And after all I'd seen this day and the price moving sideways pretty much, also with this idea that the price was probably going to taper as less and less traders are trading throughout the day, then opted to get out of that one. So a decent day, but all kind of partials, and being aware of this kind of like we're in a bit of a holiday mode on this Friday, being the day after Thanksgiving, and at a partial day. I was kind of expecting this coming in. In terms of what I'm focusing on for the week, just keep the batteries charged. This is a busy time of year for a lot of people and for me. So getting in some little daily meditations whenever it helps, or whenever I can, just to try to calm the mind down a bit, keep those stress levels down. When stress is high, there's a lot of scientific research to suggest that it's harder to focus. You become more distracted at exactly the kind of time when you need that focus. So it can be a vicious cycle. So we want to try to keep those stress levels down. It's going to help our trading, stay calm, make rational decisions during our trading. Lots of workouts. I find those really help to kind of basically do what meditation does and keep me a little calmer and reduce that stress level, and trying to eat decent through all these upcoming festivities. The EURUSD trading course is still 20% off right now, as we're still in the kind of Black Friday time period. So you can check that out. Either if you just go to tradethatswing.com You can click on this one or click on the courses directly and you'll get all the details there. And that outlines basically how to go through all these strategies, read the market, all that sort of stuff. So if you were in the US, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving weekend. And until next time, happy trading.